Hello everyone, back to you into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather next week, 10 days. In today's video, this takes us well into the second half of July. We'll go to the 21st of July with this update. Also having a look at the CFSV2 for the next month. That takes us into August. And we'll begin by having a look at today's wet weather. We've got some quite heavy rain on the way. So we'll start off with the radar picture. Which, let's do with Scotland first of all. So sunshine and showers up there. There's some quite vibrant colours in those showers, indicating there are heavy showers in places, although not everywhere getting those showers. Some places are missing them and staying dry. But it's sunshine and showers really in Scotland. Northern Ireland is mostly dry, but coming down into England and Wales, we've got quite a bit of rain. So through northern England, down into Wales and southwestern England, we've got persistent outbreaks of rain. There's some quite vibrant colours in there coming in towards Wales and southwestern England, showing some quite heavy bursts. Further east, actually a lot of dry weather through the Midlands into eastern England, although showers are developing close to the London area at the moment. All of this wet weather that's piling into west will be pushing eastwards through the course of this afternoon. This is how the high-resolution Euro 4 model from website Weather Online is seeing things developing. So this is the precipitation forecast for 6 o'clock this evening, where you see most of England and Wales is looking wet with outbreaks of quite heavy rain. That rain continues up to midnight through central and southern parts of England and Wales. And even at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's still raining across East Anglia and South East England, though it is turning drier from the north and west. And tomorrow actually a mostly dry day. This is the total precipitation accumulation from the Euro 4 model at Weather Online. It's been toned down a little bit from yesterday, when you'll remember there was a narrow swathe of rain that was going potentially at around 50 millimetres. We're not seeing that on this latest update of Euro 4. But even so, much of England and Wales coming out with quite a wet 24 hours, certainly up to 20 millimetres of rain, quite possible over a fairly wide area through central southern parts of England and Wales. That's going up close to an inch of rain. So quite a dose of rain setting in later this afternoon and into the evening and night across the southern part of the country. And once that's out of the way, I think the south turns mainly dry then, heading up towards the weekend, and the north will tend to get most of the showers. Let's go out beyond that then to the next week to 10 days. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the PSU, Penn State University website. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, which have a look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure, low pressure being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue is extrapolating to low pressure, and orange is extrapolating to high pressure. So for the next week, 10 days, these are the mean flowcharts for the 7 to 10 day time frame, which takes us to around the 21st of July. The ECMWF shows below average heights to the north and west, and the black lines indicate the jet stream here coming in across the country. So that looks a little bit unsettled still, actually, as we're going into the second half of the month. We've got the ridge here across Central Europe, which will be trying to push up hotter air at times from the south, but that still looks fairly flat, fairly unsettled, particularly so to the north and west. However, the GFS is bringing back summer next week. So here we go with the height anomaly flow chart, and we see that we've got with the GFS an area of above average heights, which is high pressure, centred over and just to the east and southeast of UK. Low pressure is down there close to Portugal and up towards Greenland, and the flow is going something a bit like that. What we're doing here is we're bringing up the air from a southerly, southeasterly direction, and that will be really quite warm, if not hot, as we're going into next week with a lot of dry weather as well. So quite a big split there, actually, between the GFS and the ECMWF in terms of the pattern for the 7 to 10 day time frame. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average, cooler than average for the next few days. So we're going to be seeing a little bit of a cooler phase running up towards the end of the week. But at the end of the week into weekend, the temperatures lift up. It's going to turn warm, especially in the south over the weekend. We might well see temperatures getting back into the upper 20s Celsius with the south by Sunday, for example. And then next week, the trend really is to keep the temperatures above average as well. There are quite a few hot outliers appearing as well as we're running up towards the final stages of July. So I think the GFS is trending more towards the warmer and drier side of things as we're running into the final week to 10 days of July. Precipitation, well, this is the rain that's coming up today. A lot of wet weather. After that, loads of dry weather. Remember, this is for London, so loads of dry weather for the south for the remainder of the week and up towards the weekend as well. Next week, there are some precipitation spikes coming through, but this is in the extended range of the model, and it might, a lot of those precipitation spikes might just be thundery showers being set off by the sort of heat and humidity that the GFS is beginning to pick up on. Overall, after today's rain is out of the way, a lot of dry weather for the southern part of the country. Temperature anomalies for the next week. This takes us from the 11th to the 19th of July, coming out a little bit cooler than average. That's because the next few days are quite cool, of course. As you get through to the end of the week, those temperatures will start to lift up. But the anomaly for the coming week actually looks a little bit on the cooler than average side. Precipitation anomalies close to average. I'd expect these anomalies to be trending warmer and drier, really, over the next few days. We'll keep an eye on them. So this is how the GFS is seeing things for Saturday. And we've got the Azores High throwing up the ridge into the south, bringing a lot of dry and warm weather to the southern part of the country over the weekend. You notice the isobars are still blowing through Scotland and Northern Ireland, so it looks a little bit unsettled there. Through into Sunday, again, there's the ridge from the Azores High across England and Wales, bringing a lot of dry and potentially very warm weather. We could be seeing temperatures by Sunday in the south back up into the 27, 28 degree mark, going back towards the 80s Fahrenheit. In the north, it will be more unsettled with those westerly, southwesterly winds bringing some showery bursts of rain. Probably dropping some sort of a front southwards on Monday, might produce a few showers and a slight drop in temperature. But by Tuesday, look at this, the high pressure is building back in again. We saw it on the height anomaly charts. That high pressure then continues and just strengthens through the course of next week. So this is how things are looking by Thursday, the 20th of July. And that really is a very summer looking chart. We've got the Azores High out to our west, ridging through the UK, sending a big ridge through the UK and going up towards Scandinavia as well. Yes, there's a little bit of an easterly wind down across the south. That'll be quite a hot wind because it's drawing the air in from Germany. But that is a kind of classic summer chart that you get in like the best summers, really. The driest and the hottest summers tend to look a little bit like that, with large ridges extending from the Azores, from just here, large ridges extending from the Azores all the way up to Scandinavia. The jet stream there is being pushed a very long way north. That's going up towards the North Pole. When you get that kind of high pressure dominance in the summer, it can be setting up a really quite a prolonged spell of dry and warm weather. And we go up to day 10 with no real change, still lots of high pressure dominating. Pressure's a little bit weaker down to the south, so thunderstorms will be threatening southern parts of the country from France, but essentially this is a very, very large ridge that we've got here. It's extending, I say, from the Azores right the way into Scandinavia and Western Russia. The jet stream is up there. It's a very long way away, and that's just really dry, warm, fine conditions through the course of next week. That's summer back big time next week. But, as we know, the ECWF is a lot more unsettled for next week. So this is how the ECWF is looking. And for Monday, Saturday I should say, we have got this slight ridge from the Azores High down across the south, so drier and warmer in the south on Saturday, a little bit cooler and more showery up in the north. We get through into Sunday, again we've got that ridge down in the south, producing a lot of dry and warm weather. Further north, it's more unsettled. And then through to the early part of next week, probably dropping a front southwards on Monday with some showers and lowering the temperatures. Then we try to build the ridge back again on Tuesday. So that's all in agreement, really. The GFS and the ECWF are in agreement up to Tuesday. with a lot of dry and warm weather in the south over the weekend, always more unsettled in the north. Then Monday, we bring some sort of showery band southwards, lower the temperature a bit, back to fine weather on Tuesday. But it's beyond that, really, that we've got disagreement between models, because on Wednesday next week, we start to pull up what looks like quite a thundery low. So possibly a bit hot around the middle part of next week with the east NUF, but then the Atlantic breaking through. So we finish up on day 10, not with that very large ridge extending from the Azores to Scandinavia, as we have with the GFS. What we finish up with is just a flat westerly flow, bringing coolish air and showers to the north. The east NUF, I think it does get quite hot, however, around Wednesday. I would have thought that's lifting temperatures close to 30 degrees, but with thunder, and then after that, it's a bit more unsettled. So it's not a huge difference between the two, really, in terms of the weather next week. It's just the general broad pattern that is finishing on quite a significantly different note. Finally, just having a look at CFS V2 for the next month. So these are the 500 bar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period taking us from today, the 11th through to the 17th of July. We've got the ridge out to the west and to the southwest. We've got low pressure up to the north, and we're doing something a bit like that with the jet stream. So always the most settled conditions down in the south, always more unsettled in the northern part of the country. Through into week 2, which is the 18th to 24th of July, ridging to our east and also to our west as well. So that's the Azores high just there. This is the high pressure over sort of eastern and central parts of Europe. The jet stream is being shoved off up here, so I think overall that is in agreement with what the GFS is trying to do. It's very close to what the GFS is trying to do, which is essentially to build one large ridge from here over towards here. It's not quite as strong as what the GFS is showing this morning, but it is close, and I think that will bring a lot of dry and very warm weather through that period, the 18th to 24th of July. Week 3 looks like this, 25th through to the 31st of July. High pressure centred through much of Europe, central and northern Europe. Low pressure's out to the west. That could be a bit thundery, probably pulling the air up from the south, and this low pressure here might provide the energy for some thunder. That will still be very warm, I would have thought. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 1st through to the 7th of August, still with a lot of above average heights to our south and to our east. Probably a little bit more influence from low pressure in the Atlantic, so maybe starting to bring the jet stream back southwards again. Perhaps a little bit cooler and more unsettled, especially so for the north, could still be very dry. The south, I think overall the indications here are that despite today's rain and cooler temperatures, the overall outlook continues to be as we expected when we issued the summer forecast, which is very warm and a fair amount of dry weather too, particularly for England and Wales. If the GFS is right, we're bringing summer back big time next week. The ECNF just adds a little note of caution. Yes, it does get very warm with the ECNF around the middle part of next week, but then we're back to an Atlantic showery, cooler flow in the second half of next week. But the trends remain pretty much as they have been throughout the summer so far, which is lots of warm weather, especially so for the south. This is turning out to be quite a hot summer, really, for southern parts of the country. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.